Hi, I'm Joshua Hanlon at the amazing site of the Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an, China. Sites like this and many others throughout China are very difficult to visit if you don't pay the extra expense for a guide or are able to speak Chinese. So today we're going to give you some tips on some excellent apps that will help you make your way around China to have the best experience possible. We're back in the hotel in Xi'an now, and I'll just give a quick overview of how the internet in China works before we dive into the list of apps that can help you navigate your way around the country. So to start off, you'll definitely want to be aware that many social media sites such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and many others are blocked in the country, and pretty much all Google products at the time we're making this video in May of 2018 are blocked as well. So that just gives you an idea of how many of the sites that you probably use on a daily basis are not available in China. Now, to get around this, a lot of people use a VPN, which is technically legal here in China, so we wanted to try to not do that. Since it is technically illegal, we wanted to avoid that and just try to see what apps and everything we could use to get around make our way around without actually breaking the law by downloading a VPN, though it is common and a lot of people do it, so that is one option. And if you choose to download a VPN, then some of these things won't apply to you because you'll still be able to use the more common apps that people use in the US. Having said that, one thing you'll need for a lot of these is an internet connection. So to get connected to the internet, you'll want to pick up a SIM card in the airport when you land in China. And to find more information on that, you can look in the video description for a video we made explaining how SIM cards work. Now let's dive into the apps. The first thing I'll mention here is that you'll want to make sure to download all of these apps before you arrive in China because access to the Google Play Store is cut off in addition to all those other Google products I mentioned, so make sure you get these before you arrive in the country. Now I'm going to start off by talking about some GPS related apps because when you travel, GPS is probably the most important thing you can have. It gets you around when you're walking through a city, it gives you driving directions from place to place, so much valuable information. So since we can't use Google Maps, there's a couple of variations and a couple of apps here that we can use. One is called Osmand, and so this is a GPS app where you can actually download maps. So you're going to want to download the China map, which will allow you to see all the different roads and routes and everything throughout China. And once you have that downloaded, then this app is really great for showing your location in the country, and so this will allow you to track your location and show exactly where you are in a city. The other GPS app you can use is actually google.cn/maps. And so this is sort of a variation on Google Maps in China, but it doesn't actually allow you to show your location. But what it can do is show you a route between point A and point B and show you the best way to do that. And so what we have found is that the best way to do this is combine this google.cn/maps with the Osmand app, and then you can know where you are as well as see the best way to get there. And also on Osmand, once you know where you need to go, if you can find that on the map, you can just touch that and it'll pull up a nice walking or driving route as well. So between both those, if you experiment with them a little bit, you can typically find your way around pretty well, even though you don't have the full normal Google Maps you would have in the US. Another quick note on that is that if you have an iPhone, Apple Maps should work, and I've heard from some people works better than Google Maps, so you can definitely, if you have an iPhone, try that out as well. Another app that's super valuable since Google is blocked is Tripadvisor. Tripadvisor is going to give you tons of information and reviews on anything you can imagine that you would want to visit here in China. So if you're looking for hours on something or things like that, anything you want reviews and stuff, it's just so much great information. So Tripadvisor app is super helpful since Google is blocked and you can't just quickly Google something like you normally would. Now, for messaging and keeping in touch with family and friends back home, WeChat is what you're going to want to use. WeChat is used by almost everyone in China. It's amazing how many people use it, and it's got tons of features beyond just messaging. People use it to pay for things and call a taxi and all sorts of other stuff in China. But as a tourist, the main thing that you can use it for is just a basic messaging app like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger that is not blocked here in China. So WeChat is not blocked, and you can use that to talk to family members and friends back home. So it's really useful for that. One last note about Osmand before we move on is that it's actually so accurate. It shows the Great Wall of China route on the map. And so as we were hiking the Great Wall, even in the completely unrestored wild sections, You could see exactly where we were on the map here. You could see where the towers are, and you can see even the trails going up the mountains that takes you to the wall. So it's got some great details like that that are really helpful. Now I wanted to mention another app that is super useful in China and really in any foreign country where you can't speak the language, and that is the Google Translate app. And this works because you can download the languages ahead of time, and so that is how you're able to use Google Translate while you're in China, even though it's a Google product. So you'll want to download the Chinese language section of the app so that you can make sure it works while you're in the country. And it's got some great features. The most useful one, the one you'll use the most, is just typing in something in English. So I wrote "Welcome to China," and then underneath here it puts it in Chinese, whatever you wrote up top. So that's super useful. Say you're getting on a bus and you want to make sure the bus is going where you want it to go, and you can just type in, "Is this going to the Terracotta Warriors?" or wherever it might be. You can use that to give directions to a taxi driver, or just, conversation stuff as well, which there actually is a conversation button here as well, which is helpful if you kind of are in a controlled environment and can sit down with someone and have a back and forth controlled conversation. Then you can each speak and it will translate for the other person, back and forth translating English and Chinese, which can be helpful. Another really cool feature is the camera feature, and so this basically allows you to just point your camera at any Chinese written words, and it will automatically translate it, basically live there as you're looking at your screen, and translate it to English. So that's really nice. If there's a sign or something you need to read, then you can just point your camera at it, and it's super useful. So again, you'll make sure you'll download the Chinese language portion of the Google Translate app before you arrive in the country, and then you'll be all set with this. This is, again, very useful. So that's a look at some of the apps that we have found really useful in China. Last couple tips here. Another app that is useful, and you can choose from several of these, is a offline currency converter app, and this will let you quickly put in, the local currency and compare it to what that would cost in US dollars or whatever your currency is, and so that allows you to quickly compare prices of things as you're out and around a city and traveling around. Another useful thing is the Yahoo Mail app, because Yahoo is actually unblocked in China. And so if you normally use Gmail, then you can set up your Gmail account to forward to a Yahoo email address if you set one up. And that way you can still be getting your emails through the Yahoo Mail app while you're in China. You can even set it up so that your normal Gmail address can reply to emails coming into the Yahoo account. So that's useful. So at least you have email still to keep in touch with people, even though the normal social media accounts don't work. So I hope you got some good tips from this video. If there are any other apps that you found useful while traveling in China, feel free to leave a comment below. We always love to hear more good advice, and always appreciate everyone watching. Thank you.